Hi there, everyone. Happy Friday. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
A fierce debate on Capitol Hill about what happened during Wednesday's riot and who's to blame. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on what lawmakers are saying about possibly impeaching President Trump.
Plus, calls to remove U.S. Senator Josh Hawley from office through censure.
The Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce offers advice for small business owners on the next round of paycheck protection. I'm Kate Kelly with the details just ahead.
Doug Heading is weather tonight. Jacob Leonard has some sports for you as well. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. The Miami Police Department releases the name of a burglary suspect who was fatally shot early this morning. That suspect is 30-year-old Roger Nellums from Miami. Police say Nellums was shot after he broke into a home on the 900 block of B Street in Miami. Carthage, Missouri man is dead after a wreck last night. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says 78-year-old James Robinson and 55-year-old Terry Abernathy were heading east on County Road 80 when they hit a vehicle parked in the roadway. Both were taken to the hospital where Abernathy passed away. Robinson was seriously injured. Senator Roy Blunt of Missouri has joined Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar as well as other Senate leaders in announcing their intention to hold hearings on security failures at the U.S. Capitol after those violent demonstrations on Wednesday. The senators said in a joint statement, quote, "Let me be clear, an attack on the Capitol building is an attack on every American. We plan to conduct oversight and hold bipartisan hearings on these horrific events and work together to make the necessary reforms to ensure this never happens again." President Trump says he will not be attending the inauguration of his successor, President-elect Joe Biden. It comes a day after he told the country there will be a new administration come January 20th. Meanwhile, calls for impeachment from Democrats are growing. Even some Republicans are on board with this. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports from D.C.
The vice president has not decided whether or not he will attend the inauguration. President Trump will be the first incumbent president to skip since 1869. In a tweet from his once frozen account, President Trump wrote, "To all those who have asked, I will not be going to the inauguration on January 20th.
One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
Flags at the Capitol are flying at half-staff in honor of the Capitol Hill police officer who died from his injuries in Wednesday's riot. Most Democrats are placing the blame squarely on President Trump for what happened Wednesday. Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's spoken with the Joint Chiefs of Staff chairman about preventing President Trump from using nuclear codes. In the House, lawmakers are making plans to introduce articles of impeachment, and they believe they can move quickly.
Every day that Donald Trump is President of the United States is a day of grave danger.
Senator Lindsey Graham dismissed the idea, saying any attempt to impeach President Trump would not only be unsuccessful in the Senate, but would be a dangerous precedent for the future of the presidency. Other Republicans see it differently.
I will definitely consider whatever articles they might move.
I think it's important we get on with the business of getting him out of office. The quickest way that will happen is us being sworn in on the 20th.
If the House approves articles of impeachment, the Senate would need a 2/3 supermajority to convict. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Earlier today, Twitter announced it had permanently suspended President Trump's personal Twitter account. A Joplin business leader who is a major Republican campaign donor is calling for the U.S. Senate to censure Missouri Senator Josh Hawley. Hawley faces backlash over his challenge to the presidential electoral vote. KOAM's Chris Warner has more.
TAMCO president and CEO David Humphreys and donor to Senator Hawley's campaign issued a statement to the Missouri Independent saying the Senate needs to censure Senator Hawley. All of this stemming from his objection Wednesday night to the presidential election results. Violence broke out at the Capitol prior to the Senate meeting, and Republican Robert Stokes says it's important to separate the two.
Anyone who's criticized now, they should have been just as critical before the attack of the Capitol building, because we cannot suggest that the people, the criminals who entered the Capitol building did so because people were objecting to the election, or that somehow justified that.
Stokes says he has a problem with anyone who felt the objections would change the outcome of the election, but he feels it's important that Senator Hawley brought up his objection.
I think it also is very important for people like Senator Hawley to make sure the concerns of their constituents are aired in a public forum and investigated properly.
In a statement, Senator Hawley said, quote, "I will never apologize for giving voice to the millions of Missourians and Americans who have concerns about the integrity of our elections. That's my job, and I will keep doing it." Democrat Joshua Shackles has concerns over Senator Hawley's objection.
As an elected official from Missouri, I don't know why he would be getting involved in the election process of other states. If he has some type of evidence that something might have happened, it would be best if he brought that forward and let the officials from those states handle those investigations.
Shackles feels something should be done.
Well, he definitely deserves a strong message about his actions, whether that is coming from Congress or his constituents.
As for Humphrey's call for censure, it's something that must be initiated by a member of the Senate. MSSU Associate Professor of Political Science William Delahanty explains what censure would mean.
In this case, for example, in the Senate, to take into account public reaction, right, to the behavior of their members, and then to show the public kind of in a very official way that they don't approve, right, of what the member has been doing or saying, for that matter.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
In addition to Humphrey's call for the U.S. Senate to censure Senator Hawley, other representatives have been calling for Senators Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz to resign. Doug Katie joins us now with our first look at the forecast. Another chilly night for us, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be cold outside once again. We were cold today. We started at 30 degrees. We only made it up to 39. Average high is 44 for this time of the year. And we have had some clouds and even some light little snow showers and flurries, which have been working through. You can see this little batch kind of pushing through right now. It's not a big deal. Just a few random small flakes are going to be flying about over the next couple hours, and then they'll pretty much be out of here. But temperatures are cold. 32, 33, 34 degrees. Will drop back eventually down into the upper 20s once again. We have this light northerly wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, still a lot of clouds, but we'll warm up a little bit more as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we'll look at that the entire weekend here in just a bit.
Doug, thanks as always. Crawford County, Kansas Health Department is reporting 5 new coronavirus-related deaths in the past week and a half. That county's death toll is now 34. The Jasper County, Missouri Health Department reports 6 more deaths. Officials say the patients were all men, ages ranging from their 40s to their 90s. Jasper County's total death count is now 110. And the McDonald County, Missouri Health Department is reporting 1 more death, bringing their death toll to 28. The $900 billion Relief Act, signed into law by President Trump, granted additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, a forgivable loan program established by the CARES Act. Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce says it's good news for small businesses, but as KOAM's Kate Kelly reports, they need to be prepared for some changes.
There's no doubt that the pandemic has hit small businesses hard. Even with community support, this Pittsburgh boutique owner admits it's been a challenge in the retail and service industry.
I feel like we've weathered pretty well, but it hasn't been without its struggles. During the lockdown, it became important for us to pivot, go online, use social media selling.
Adaptation and federal funding have helped businesses like Audacious Boutique stay afloat. And Selmy employs 4 part-time workers and 1 full-time employee. She's looking into this next round of paycheck protection to keep it that way.
The IDL and then the PPP rounds have been really helpful in making sure that I can keep that full-time person employed.
In its first wave, the program supported about 2,000 jobs in Pittsburgh alone, nearly $20 million. The Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce expects more businesses to take part in this second round.
Even some businesses that maybe weren't struggling quite as much when this was around last year are now, and so it couldn't come at a better time and will really help a lot of our businesses get through the time frame until the vaccine is more readily available and maybe things start to return to normal a little bit.
There are some changes to the program this year. Loans are being capped at $2 million instead of $10 million, and the maximum number of employees has been reduced down from 500 to 300 to focus on helping smaller businesses. The Chamber says it pays to be organized.
We encourage everybody to go ahead and get with your tax professional professional, get with your lending institution, because you do need to have your tax returns, you need to have payroll reports, you need to have rent information, utility information, because all that will be necessary to apply for Paycheck Protection.
There are a lot of resources out there that people can tap into. It's just a matter of seeking them out and asking for help, and everybody's wanting to help and wants to get you the information that you need.
In Pittsburgh, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Program application is set to open next week. Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce is advising business owners to check for updates regarding Paycheck Protection on the Small Business Association website. Crawford County Kansas Commission met today to discuss the rollout of coronavirus vaccines in the county. County officials say they've used all of the doses of vaccines the health department was given, and they are currently waiting for more of those doses. Phase 2 of the vaccine rollout starts in February, but county officials are already getting a plan in place.
Starting the logistics piece with the county and our public, our local law enforcement, to start to develop the plan for traffic routing and places as far as having a big enough place to do that many people and monitor afterwards.
Officials also say the number of COVID-19 cases in the county almost doubled after Christmas, jumping from around 170 new cases a week to around 320. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Daniel McBride has served in the U.S. Navy from 1943 to 45. David Love Joplin McBride received the Asiatic Pacific Victory Medal, the European Medal, and American Area Medal. We are proud to thank Daniel McBride. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Ketty is up next with a complete look at the forecast. A bit later in sports, as the Chiefs wait to find out who their first playoff opponent is going to be, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Olthus, has more on how the team is looking to finish.
Well, it's definitely another cold day for us today. Temperatures struggled to warm up, only upper 30s for afternoon highs, and kind of in and out of the clouds all day long, but at least we got some sunshine, which is always nice to see. We've had a lot of clouds most of the week. Great time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, to come down the road, we have a few flurries, which are actually rolling through right now and tonight. It's going to be a cold weekend. The pattern's actually pretty calm. We still have a lot of storm systems out there. They're just not really affecting us. We're in that part of the pattern where we get a little bit of a lull. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Currently outside, 33. Northerly winds are light, so we don't really have much of a wind chill. Humidity is at 75%. But you can see around the metro, from Pittsburgh, 33 in Neosho, Sarcoxy at 32, and then down I-44, Miami is sitting at 36 degrees, and this is consistent across the region. Chanute 35, 36 in Grove. Nevada is checking in at 33. Anderson at about 35 degrees with these light northerly winds at about 5 to 10. These are going to stay light tonight and really all the way through the weekend. We've had some clouds, even a few light little snow flurries, which have been rotating through over the past couple hours. Just a weak little wave is working through, and this just kind of ushers in a little bit cooler air. But you can see these light little snow flurries which have been passing through. Again, not a big deal, but a few random little flakes flying out there, and they're going to be gone by morning. Next storm systems are building out to the west. This first one is kind of dipping into the Pacific Northwest, and this is going to take a strong, deep southern track across the southern plains as we work through the next couple days. You can see tomorrow into Sunday, it digs all the way down into parts of Texas, and then it kind of curls out across parts of Arkansas, but it stays far enough south that it's not really going to affect us. All we're going to see is some clouds from it, and that is really just about it. Then we get a ridge of high pressure. We warm up next week, and then another storm system drops in on Thursday, and that will cool us down late next week and then heading into next weekend. For us tonight, we're fine. Just a few random little flurries out there, and then we'll call it partly sunny skies for us tomorrow. Temperatures, they could be better, but not awful. 27 in the morning, 36 by noon. High temp right around 40 degrees. Pretty much clear skies tomorrow night, but again, another cold one as we drop into the mid-20s. Then as we head into Sunday, a little bit more sunshine, but still we have that northerly wind kind of ushering in those cooler temperatures as we only go and the upper 30s for highs. 42 by Monday, 55 by Tuesday, 60 by Wednesday. So it does warm up, and then we cool right back down with that next storm system rolling in on Thursday and Friday of next week.
How about that? 60 degrees there on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's going to feel pretty good after 30s for several days.
No kidding. They'll catch you in a little bit. Thank you so much, as always. Coming up, the coronavirus not slowing down.
The coronavirus vaccine rollout continues as the death toll surges. I'm David Lee Miller in New York. The details coming up.
CDC says more than 21 million vaccines have been distributed across the U.S., but only about 30% have been actually administered. Public health officials are taking measures to accelerate the rollout as a post-holiday surge is taking effect. Fox News correspondent David Lee Miller has more.
The coronavirus showing no signs of slowing down, the U.S. adding a record of more than 4,000 deaths on Thursday. A new CDC model estimates the country's death toll could top 430,000 by the end of the month. California and Arizona currently lead the nation in infection rates.
And I've seen more people pass away in the past week, in the past couple weeks really, than I almost say combined in all of my career as a nurse.
President-elect Joe Biden's office says he plans to release most available vaccine doses to curb the spread. The government currently holds about half of the supply in order to give people a second shot.
This is what's going to help us get back to normal. Hopefully, maybe later this year, this Thanksgiving of 2021, Christmas of 2021, we'll be able to travel.
And in New York, top officials remain at odds over how to distribute unused vaccines. Governor Andrew Cuomo has limited the rollout to healthcare workers and nursing home residents, but in New York City, some 270,000 doses are still available. Mayor Bill de Blasio calling on the governor to allow seniors and first responders to get their shots.
On Monday, 1A and 1B will be open for the entire network, primarily by appointments. Hospitals can open 1A, 1B, but prioritize healthcare workers.
The FDA commissioner is now urging states to vaccinate lower priority groups to speed distribution. In New York, David Lee Miller, Fox News.
Coming up, President-elect Biden speaking on the economy and also the remainder of President Trump's term.
Hey, if you're not busy.
President-elect Biden says today's December economic report shows Americans need more help right now. Biden introducing new members of his economic team today. He also gave his clearest answer yet about what he thinks his predecessor's immediate fate should be. Fox News correspondent Peter Ducey reports from Wilmington, Delaware.
Ahead of a planned phone call with Speaker Pelosi, the president-elect isn't planning to push for impeachment.
What the Congress decides to do is for them to decide.
Biden says his focus is on what happens after inauguration, which Trump won't attend.
One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
What about the Vice President, Mike Pence?
He's welcome.
The president-elect says he trusts the Secret Service to keep that ceremony safe, but he's got questions about the Capitol Police.
The photograph looked like you had some of the Capitol Police taking selfies with these people. That has to be thoroughly investigated.
The Biden transition reached a milestone today.
We have finished naming our cabinet, saving the best for last here.
His pick for Labor Secretary is Boston Mayor Marty Walsh, but until control of the Senate flipped this week, another name under consideration was Bernie Sanders.
We can't put control of the Senate at risk on the outcome of a special election in Vermont. And he agreed we couldn't take that chance.
That wasn't an issue in November when Sanders angled for the spot.
The Republican governor has indicated that he would appoint somebody who would caucus with the Democrats.
The transition also announced Biden will soon push to distribute all available doses of the COVID-19 vaccine instead of the current policy of holding some back as second doses. A spokesman explains he supports releasing available doses immediately and believes the government should stop holding back vaccine supply so we can get more shots in Americans' arms now. Fox News pressed the president-elect for details.
All the available doses. Can you guarantee that everybody can get their second shot on time?
The answer is I'll be talking about that on Friday.
On Friday?
Monday, Biden will get his second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and the transition team is telling us that cabinet nominees and people close to Biden are also going to get their first doses next week. That's as we've learned that the Secretary of State Mike Pompeo met with Biden's pick to be the top diplomat, Tony Blinken. All signs that the transfer of power is getting closer. In Wilmington, Delaware, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
Japan using these unique times, look at that, for some unique ways to cheer people up. Give me an A. You'll learn more when we come back. Enthusiastic cheerleaders keep commuters moving and smiling. In Japan, commuters in central Tokyo coming through a public square, also going through a cheerleading squad on their way to work. The cheerleaders very much playing their part, complete with rally cries, dance moves, also those pom-poms that we just saw. Now, the idea behind the performances boost the public mood in fighting this coronavirus that's been going on. The group has apparently been doing this for commuters for some time, but it's needed now more than ever during this pandemic. It's also taken a new meaning with the constant chants of fight, fight, fight. No kidding. Use all that power you can. It's cute, it's funny, right? But again, remember, these are tough times, unique times. A unique way to put a smile on the face. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
The governor of Kansas has released the state's COVID-19 vaccination plan, and it divides the vaccinations up into 5 phases. You'll hear what different members of different phases think coming up.
Also going to show you a new type of map in Joplin with a different purpose compared to other, more traditional maps. Governor of Kansas has revealed the order that Kansans are going to be eligible for coronavirus vaccines. Vaccinations will occur over 5 distinct phases, and KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to people who qualify among various phases to get their own opinion on this whole state plan.
Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has announced the state's finalized vaccine distribution order based on guidance from the Kansas Coronavirus Vaccine Advisory Council. It divides vaccinations into 5 phases, and phase 1 begins with healthcare workers as well as residents and patients in long-term care facilities and senior housing. Sarah Pullett is a dietary manager at Pittsburgh's Carrington Place, a senior living facility, and she agrees with the state's phase 1 priorities.
I do think they should be at the top of the line. They are the most vulnerable.
Phase 2 includes a lot of different professions, including grocery store employees, teachers, and first responders. Pittsburgh's new fire chief says many members of his team have already been vaccinated, and he thinks placing them in phase 2 is appropriate.
It seems to me to be a good fit for us and the organization. We are basically have the same level of exposure that the EMS providers do. So being put into that category with them, I felt was a good fit for the organization.
Phase 3 includes non-healthcare workers in critical infrastructure who can't work remotely, and that includes truck drivers. Joe Mayfield is a trucker who has lost some friends to COVID-19, but he doesn't have a problem residing in phase 3.
Yeah, it seems right. I mean, but put your faith in the Lord, He'll take care of it. But
Phase 4 includes Kansans with medical conditions who didn't qualify for the previous 3 phases. And Phase 5 includes the rest of the population above the age of 16. In Pittsburgh, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
If you'd like more detailed information for each Kansas vaccination phase, just click on this story on our website. See it right there, KOAMNewsNow.com. There's a new Joplin map with a special purpose. Sure, it's meant to get you places, right? Like maps do, but not just any place, okay? Some of the best places to visit in downtown. Some hip hangouts in downtown Joplin. Eric Hahn designed this new map.
To just help businesses downtown, to help everybody, and to help people know where to go. We live in a great, exciting place. You just have to learn where things are and what we have.
Hahn says it took him about 80 hours to create this map. Good job. The Republican winter meeting is wrapping up in Florida, and the main focus of that session is where the party goes from here. Fox News correspondent Phil Keating reports from Florida.
In Washington, politicians from both parties are debating how to handle the final days of President Trump's term in office.
Unite ourselves after this election.
While on Amelia Island, Florida, Republicans are debating the future of their party. The RNC's annual winter meeting wrapping up this Friday, where many members began questioning what the GOP needs to do now, make changes or not, to be able to take back the Senate and the House in 2022.
So the ayes have it.
Ronna McDaniel is elected chairman of the Republican National Committee.
RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel winning re-election for a third term today, urging Republicans to largely stay the course, taking it directly to the Democrats and defeating leftist policies.
We are not going to cede our country to the far left who want to turn towards socialism, institute the Green New Deal, and remake America as we know it, and take away my right to call myself a mother, a wife, a sister, a woman.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul came to the meeting to persuade a return to the traditional fiscally conservative ideology.
Frankly, I am a voice down here at the Republican National Committee saying we need to recapture this party and make sure people know it's a home for conservatives, but we're not going to be for the free money populism that some are promoting.
Steve Van Coor, a political strategist in Tallahassee, says the GOP needs to get back to its roots and could even pick up seats in 2 years.
They just became the party of Donald Trump. That's no longer sustainable for them for self-evident and obvious reasons. They will drop back to be the party of fiscal restraint, fiscal conservatism, and that will serve them well.
Trump did speak here, not in person, but in a pre-taped 2-minute-long message statement, which the members of the committee inside the hotel all watched last night. The president also talked about the current status of the party, saying, quote, "Our popularity as a party is doing very well. We have setbacks every once in a while, but I think we're in great shape." That tape not being shared with the public. On Amelia Island, Florida, Phil Keating, Fox News.
Coming up, a more detailed look at those calls for security changes in D.C. still intensifying.
A growing number of lawmakers demanding answers about how things could get so out of control on Wednesday inside the U.S. Capitol. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. We'll have the latest coming up.
Well, it turned out to be another cold day for us today. Temperatures only upper 30s for highs, but we got some sunshine. We haven't had any sun in several days, so it was nice to see at least a little bit of sunshine out there. Great time lapse. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, down the road, we're actually going to get a few little random flurries tonight. Just random small little flakes, not a big deal. It's going to stay cold all weekend. We are going to get some sun, but it's going to stay cold. And we're kind of in a calm part of the pattern. We're in a 46-day cycle. However, we're in a little bit of a lull. We still get storm systems through, but we don't have a lot affecting us. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAM. Newsnow.com. 33 outside. Northerly winds are light. Humidity is at 75%. Around the metro, Fairland 38, 35 in Seneca. Galena 34, 32 in Carthage. Granby, hair warmer at 34 degrees. And this is distant across the region from Yates Center to Nowata to Oswego, Monette, Stockton, Anderson, all sitting into low to mid 30s with a light northerly wind at about 5 to 10. And that's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. We have had the clouds kind of in and out all day long, and underneath the clouds we are seeing some very light little flurries. A weak little wave is passing through, and you can see a few random little flurries popping up on the radar. Nothing heavy by any means, but don't be surprised if you see some random flakes flying about during the overnight hours for us tonight. Next storm system building, Pacific Northwest, but this is going to take a deep southern track across the southern plains. Watch it over the next couple days. It drops all the way into Texas by Sunday morning, kind of curls out by Dallas, and then eventually into central parts of Arkansas. It's just a hair too far south to really do much for us. We'll get some clouds from it, but that's about it. Then we get under a ridge of high pressure. We warm up for the middle of next week, and then another little cold snap drops in next Thursday. The following week, that's when it really starts picking up again, and we get really active with storm systems around our neck of the woods. Let's go through the overnight hours tonight. Again, those random flurries, upper 20s for overnight lows. Partly sunny skies tomorrow. It's still going to be cold. We're going to have those north winds light at about 5 to 10. 27 to start, 36 by noon. High temp right around 40, which is below average for this time of the year. Clearing out tomorrow night, but cold again. Mid-20s, and we'll get some more clouds in here by Sunday, but temperatures not that much warmer as we only go into the upper 30s for afternoon highs. So it stays cold over the next couple days. 40 tomorrow, 39 Sunday, 42 on Monday. But then check this out. 55 Tuesday, 60 on Wednesday. Rain chances with a cold front on Thursday, so we'll cool right back down as we head into next weekend. But at least we get a few days where it looks pretty good.
Yeah, for the time being, though, during those cold days, it's really good to feel that sunshine. It really does feel good on a cold day.
Yeah, it always makes it feel warmer.
Yeah, a little bit anyway, right?
Yeah.
Doug, thanks as always. Appreciate it. All right, coming up in sports, Colgan boys looking to keep their hot streak going as they take on Riverton. Plus, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, looks at the team's historic season and how they look to finish it.
Getting a flu shot helps you.
Well, since dropping their season opener to Columbus in early December, the Colgan boys have bounced back to win 3 games in a row. Now, tonight, Colgan hits the floor for their first game of 2021, aiming to keep that streak alive in the new year. Now, the Panthers welcome in Riverton tonight. The Rams also good, 4-1 coming in. A good start for Riverton. Joel Sigwa to Jamie Richardson for the score. Then, check out the pass fake from Sigwa. He finishes. Rams up 1 after the first. The second quarter, Stuart O'Brien with the leaner there. Colgan grabs a quick lead. But on the other end, Landon Dunham pump fake and drills the deep ball. I swear this ain't a replay. Dunham again. Riverton up 24-20 at half. The Rams find a groove in the third. Isaac Welch good from the corner. Riverton pushes the lead to double digits. It's Rams over Colgan tonight, 53-40 the final. To the girls game now. Panthers aim for a 5-0 start against the Rams. Pick it up first quarter, Caitlin Crossland. Good look to Riley Root. Panthers up 4 going to the second. Now they literally shut Riverton out in the second. Crossland on the receiving end here. Colgan leads 23-6 at half. Second half now, Lauren Yagmore with the steal. Gets to Lauren Torrance for the finish. Then Torrance working the pick and roll with Crossland. Nice pass. Torrance goes for a game-high 24. Colgan rolls by Riverton tonight, 45-13. It's playoff time for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is the #1 seed in the AFC playoffs and has a bye in the first round this weekend. Mitch Holthus has more on how the Chiefs are trying to finish after their best regular season in team history in this week's Minute with Mitch.
Can you back it up? It's a question that's asked a lot. For the Chiefs in their history, it's a question that was answered no until this season. Just look at the Chiefs' background. The year after the 1962 AFL Championship, they finished 5-7-2, no playoffs. The year after their 1966 Super Bowl I appearance, no playoffs. After they won Super Bowl IV, they didn't make the playoffs. The year after they appeared in the 1993 AFC Championship game, they barely made the postseason with a disappointing 9-7 record. And now heading into the playoffs, the year after they won Super Bowl 54, the Chiefs have the 1 seed in the AFC after their most successful regular season in franchise history. Yep, not only are the Chiefs wanting to run it back, they want to back it up on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
The Chiefs will play the lowest remaining seed in the divisional round of the AFC playoffs next weekend. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Hey,
The U.S. Capitol Police Chief and the House and Senate Sergeant-at-Arms are out following the deadly riots at the Capitol back on Wednesday. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith now has more from Capitol Hill.
The flag at the U.S. Capitol now flies at half-staff in honor of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died late Thursday from injuries sustained during a mob attack on the Capitol. 4 others died when a pro-Trump mob stormed the building Wednesday. The Capitol Police Chief, as well as the House and Senate Sergeant-at-Arms, all announcing their resignations, with lawmakers asking tough questions about the security failures that led to the breach.
It is just absolutely unthinkable that they were not prepared. Apparently, there's over 2,000 Capitol police officers and only 500 were who had reported for duty.
The FBI joining the investigation into Officer Sicknick's death, while a bipartisan group of senators on the Homeland Security Committee say they'll be holding hearings. Some other lawmakers going further, calling for a full Justice Department investigation.
We need to figure out what happened. We need to figure out how to fix it. We need to make sure it never, ever happens again.
Meanwhile, security remains tight ahead of inauguration on January 20th. A 7-foot non-scalable fence is being set up around the Capitol grounds, and officials say they are not expecting a repeat of Wednesday's riot, but they will be prepared if it happens.
We have a lot to think about if this is going to be a new normal in America.
D.C. police say they have received some 17,000 tips so far from people trying to identify the people that were spotted inside the Capitol, an event that they've been calling an insurrection. On Capitol Hill, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Going to kick off the weekend with a look at the new movies now available on DVD and on demand. Thrillers, gripping dramas, musical animation, and more are now available to view at home this week. Here's Fox's Ashley DVORKIN with a look at the latest new releases.
I'm certain I know you from somewhere.
The thriller Fatale is now on video on demand. Michael Ealy stars as a married man who has an affair with a police detective played by Hilary Swank, then finds himself part of her latest investigation.
Jamal Khashoggi.
Also on demand is the documentary Dissident about the murder of Washington Post Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
I wanted the baby to decide when she wanted to come.
New on streaming, Netflix has the drama Pieces of a Woman, starring Vanessa Kirby as a woman grieving after the heart-wrenching loss of a child during a home birth. Shia LaBeouf and Ellen Burstyn co-star.
Me now and save us all.
The streamer also adds the animated musical Charming, with a famous voice cast including Wilmer Valderrama, Demi Lovato, and Ashley Tisdale.
There's something innately human about swearing.
And earlier this week, it debuted the 6-part comedy series History of Swear Words, hosted by Nicolas Cage.
What is the point of a house?
On Amazon Prime Video is Herself, starring Claire Dunn as a mother of 2 daughters escaping an abusive relationship who decides to build she and her children a home.
Why am I so pretty?
And in select theaters nationwide is Regina King's directorial debut, One Night in Miami. The award-winning play turned film tells a fictional account of a meeting in 1964 of Black icons Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown.
Power. Black power.
Following its theatrical release, One Night in Miami will be on Prime Video January 15th. Ashley DVORKIN, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with a friendly dog and bear cub playing at the Siberian Zoo. It's all fun and games until that bear cub grows up. Just saying. Sorry to burst that bubble for you. Hey, have a great, safe weekend. Do this all again tomorrow. I'll see you then.